The Invictus Games are in Toronto. It's a fantastic showcase of wounded and injured armed forces personnel competing in a myriad of athletic events. Check out the promotional video. This year's Team Canada comprises 90 athletes, and not one to miss out on a public relations opportunity. Defence Minister Harjit Sajjan visited Hogtown to offer his support for the Armed Forces athletes, noting, quote, "The Invictus Games serve as a powerful reminder of the extraordinary courage and determination of those who were injured while serving their country. Join me in applauding their strength and cheering on Team Canada," end quote. Well, more than applause, our armed service members deserve a standing ovation. What I do find curious, however, is Minister Sajjan's hypocrisy, because once the PR stunts and photo ops associated with the Invictus Games are over and done with, precious little thought will be given to our nation's veterans by politicians like Sajjan. Here's some more proof in the pudding for you. Consider the story of Barry Westholm. Westholm had been a sergeant major in the Canadian Army before quitting in 2013 to become an advocate for veterans. Surprisingly, his advocacy actually led to a job offer from the Canadian Forces. They saw the feisty Westholm as just the sort of go-getter that's needed to bring about change. But as the saying goes, loose lips sink ships, because just before his employment started, the Canadian Forces withdrew Westholm's job offer. The reason, according to a National Post story, is that Westholm sent emails to Prime Minister Trudeau and Defence Minister Sajjan, among others, noting in no uncertain terms how the system was failing military personnel who had put their lives on the line for Canada. In particular, he pointed to the case of Private Leah Green, who had suffered a spinal injury in the line of duty that left her partially paralyzed. Green spent years of her life dealing with bureaucratic red tape as she struggled to receive government help for chronic pain and PTSD issues. Private Green died on July 26. Now, Westholm continued to go to bat for the deceased Private Green, highlighting the problems she had encountered with both the Joint Personnel Support Unit and Veterans Affairs. It was not the sort of information the head honchos wanted to hear. And in a case of shooting the messenger, Deputy Commander Lieutenant Colonel Chris Robideau not only withdrew the job offer made to Westholm, but had this to say to him in an email, quote, "You have repeatedly made slanderous, inappropriate, and ill-informed statements about the JPSU and its personnel to our Minister of Defence and Prime Minister," end quote. Wow. That was quite different from the email Westholm received from Robideau in late June, in which Westholm was praised for his passion in fighting for justice for veterans. Quote, "Clearly you are a very passionate and knowledgeable person, and just the kind of person that we need to help move our yardsticks," end quote. Yet apparently our Minister of Defence and PM are simply too fragile to receive straight talk from a veteran in terms of how other veterans are being screwed. All of which makes an absolute mockery that all the praise being lavished on the Invictus Games by the bureaucrats and the political brass, because, hey, it seems they really don't care that much about the retired and the injured. Oh, sure, these wounded veterans are handy pawns for a feel-good photo op or two, but once the games are over, it'll be back to situation normal, all effed up, because the sad truth of the matter, as proven yet again by the tragic tale of Private Green, is that this Liberal government, which has no issues whatsoever in cutting a multi-million-dollar paycheck for a convicted terrorist, has precious little empathy for those who actually serve their country. In the viewpoint of Minister Sajjan and Prime Minister Trudeau, old, fading soldiers are useful props for Invictus Games PR stunts. But when the pomp and circumstance is over and done with, it seems that Trudeau and company really don't want to put their money where their mouth is when it comes to supporting those injured and retired troops who have sacrificed so much for us. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Like what you just saw, then click subscribe below and never miss another Rebel video.